All righty. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sports to Suits Live. I am your host, Amanda Banks, and I have the opportunity to highlight former athletes that are leveraging their background in sports and now seeing success in business. And this week, I am so excited for a lot of different reasons. But one, I have a co-host with me this week. And so, Jason, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Jason is a longtime viewer and supporter of the show, and he always submits the best questions. He also is thinking through maybe starting a podcast for himself. So I thought, what better way? Let's bring him on the show and have this awesome conversation live. So thank you, Jason, for joining. And I'm already seeing people popping in here. So if you're tuning in live, please drop us a comment. Let us know that you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from, so we can give you some shout outs. And always feel free to submit questions because that's how you get the most out of the conversation. But without further ado, I am so excited for this week's guest. We've got Cody. Cody, thank you for joining.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, we had this on the schedule, I don't know, probably February or something.
Yeah, it was a while back, and then some complications happened, but we can make it happen.
That's how it works, right? But it's so
Right.
awesome to have you on and super excited. Like I said, we've got people popping in here. We've got Courtney Harden. Hey, Courtney, how are you today? We've got Patrick Johnson. I think you do a great podcast, Jason. So there's an awesome
Yay.
shout out there. Shout out to Patrick. I am sporting some Rim Page gear. He was kind enough to send that over to me. So thank you for sending that. And I got some shout out here too. I appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words, Patrick. But before, I want to make sure we're definitely up and live and working here. So Cody, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your background and let them get to know you a bit better?
For sure. So a little bit about me. I'm Cody. My sports background was mixed martial arts, and I love boxing as well. I started with boxing and did a lot of training and was trying to get a fight, and a lot of opponents fell through. And then finally we got to a point where I was going to get a fight, and some health things popped up where we just had to take care of just some health things. And fast forward through time, I got more involved with mixed martial arts and heavy into coaching more. And that kind of took me by surprise. I didn't think I'd fall in love with it as much and kind of go in that direction. But that's the direction I went. And it got to a point where everyone's like, yo, you have to fight, yo. And I finally just pulled the trigger and then worked with the promotion out here in Wisconsin. But it was great. Everything went well. Fight camp went amazing. And then just a freak accident happened in the fight. I broke my tibia. It was
wow.
awful. It was awful. Honestly, everything was going perfect. I feel like I was completely dominating the fight, in complete control. And I threw a lower leg kick, and he checked it perfectly, and my leg snapped in half. And that actually gave me time. That happened last August. And so that gave me time to just slow down a little bit in life. And I got involved with real estate investing, and I started my own real estate investing company. And that short story kind of blew up overnight a little bit. We found some methods that were really working, and how to produce some good money with zero money down. And it was just crazy. And we through it all, I then invested into a franchise, and we bought a real estate investing franchise company. And then now I've been really just focused on that. I feel like that happened literally, we launched 2 months ago. Last week it was 2 months ago. But honestly, everything happened so fast, and it was just so crazy. But it's been an amazing journey, it's to say the least.
Well, I am super excited to dive into your background, like on this conversation. So we've got a first-time listener on. I don't know who you are,
Hey,
so send me a DM. First-time listening, glad to be on. CEO and founder of Head Start Equity, real estate private equity firm. We'll be launching a mastermind group for former active NFL players.
yeah,
Definitely
that's it.
reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. And thanks for tuning
Like,
in. This
honestly.
conversation, we're going to dive into sports and entrepreneurship, real estate, but really I want to focus a lot of time and effort into something that the three of us are very passionate about, and that is community building.
Sure.
So community building and building franchise ownership. So let's give a couple more shout outs. We have somebody tuning in from Africa. I absolutely love when we have
That's
people from
sick.
all over the world. We've got Nathan popping in here, and then we've got Aaron popping in as well. So thanks everybody for
Hey,
tuning in. It's so exciting to see where everybody's tuning in from. So Cody, let's get started because I want to
let's
start out
go.
with sports. I know you're super passionate about martial arts and sports and incorporating that into your life, but where did that come from? Like, when did you start fighting? Was this something that as a kid you were really interested in, or is it something more as an adult?
So, honestly, it was more as an adult, but I've been in sports my whole entire life. Baseball was like the main love as a kid. My dad was heavy on like pushing hard on baseball, and that just developed like habits in my life. Like, you have to be the hardest working person in the room type thing. And but like the mixed martial arts really took place later in my life, or around maybe like 24, 25, and I just wanted to get more in shape, and I had a lot of friends already fighting, and I don't know, I grew up a little rougher in high school and sometimes got in a little scuffle or something, and it was something that it intrigued me, and then I went to a mixed martial arts gym and did a class and literally fell in love immediately. Because of the community was absolutely amazing. I feel like personally, I had a lot of fear going into a gym, like, oh, dude, these are all these fighters, these professional athletes, and like, who are like, coming in. Like, why are they going to take some novice and treat them some nice? And it was the exact opposite. Like, they were the nicest people that I've probably ever met. And they really like wanted to help me get better. And like, it kind of like the old sports habit came in, like, I want to learn everything, like teach me how to do everything, and like I'll just shut up and I'll listen. And and then like, I don't know, I feel like, just kind of a natural athlete. Things came very, very easy for me in it. And I'm a thinker, so like I'm always thinking of the next 10 steps before the major step. And so that was a big advantage, is like my fight IQ, I feel, was just a little above average. And it just changed my life. It got me healthy on ways that I never dreamed of being healthy, and created structure, routine, and discipline. And
Was it kind of like was it during a time, and like I'm getting the vibe that it was maybe during a time in your life where there was a little bit of chaos, or
for sure.
a little bit of, like, I call it my hot mess express, right? Like a little bit of a challenging time in your life. Did you find that fighting was like a really good outlet for that and kind of gave you a little bit more structure and discipline?
100%, like 100%. I was really struggling with what I really wanted to do with my life, and I feel like I had like shiny object syndrome. I wanted to do anything and everything, and I could never just be consistent with anything. And I got like really depressed and really just stuck in the gutter, and just like stuck drinking a lot, and just creating a lot of unhealthy habits, and kind of just like poor me. And then, that's when I found the mixed martial arts, and like, it wasn't just like health things, like it like opened my mind more. Like it made me want to be not just physically healthy, but like mentally healthy, and like sobered up, and like completely did a 180 in a lot of areas in my life that came from that. But yeah, if it wasn't from that mixed martial arts, like it saved me out of like a bad spiral I was in.
I get it. So, Cody, let me ask you a question in regards to mental health. What does mental health mean to you? Why is it important? And what are some steps that you have incorporated along your journey to help protect your mental health?
This is a good question. Mental health is is the most important thing. I feel like I feel like all of us, myself included, probably, you know, like I always thought I was in a wrong situation, or like I could just play the victim card all the time,
Mhm.
and I never wanted to address some tough things in my life and really do some deep core work. You know, it's just some deep core work. And once I really took the time, like, and it was because of sports and mixed martial
Mhm.
arts, it opened that mind to where I want more. You know,
Yeah.
I know that I just knew there was more, and I dove into like therapy right away to really just get that hard work. And
Mhm.
I still have a great relationship with my therapist. We meet not as much, but like to maintain that balance to me is crucial, because like as entrepreneurs, we're on the go, 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 go,
Mhm.
and you know, like to be able to find a healthy balance is crucial, because like I feel like we're always trying to help everyone, you
Mhm.
know, or we're always on the next thing, and just to really like know like we're the most important thing, because like
Yeah.
none of this happens if we don't take care of ourselves
Yep.
physically, mentally, you know. And to me, like it never, you'll never sail if like if you're not mentally right, and that comes through consistency and honesty, like brutal honesty.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. What about the company that you kept early on versus your transition into mixed martial arts and then now your transition into entrepreneurship? How important has the people that you surrounded yourself played into the equation in terms of your growth?
It wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have happened. I surrounded myself with people that I look up to.
Mhm.
I surrounded myself with people that have knowledge that I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And then like my husband is one of the biggest role models in my life. He is a real estate guru, and he helped me understand things when I had questions, you know. So just constantly surrounding myself by people that only wanted me to succeed, that like they saw everything that I didn't see, because like
Mhm.
it's tough, dude. It's like it's so tough. And like
Yeah.
when you're starting a new journey, or you're starting a new career path,
Right.
it's terrifying. And like the imposter syndrome is the most scariest thing and the realest thing. Like to me, it was the most realist thing. And like it was a mental battle, like, and it like I think that's when like the mental health part comes in, because like it's scary, it's terrifying, and you think you're not good enough, and
Right.
just to break through all of that
Right.
was
So
like
at what point, because throughout my journey, like I've done, it's like relationship inventory is
Mhm.
like really kind of diving into like kind of like what you're talking about. Who are the people in my life? Who am I surrounding myself with? Who am I learning from? Like what about these people? Like are they taking energy? Are they adding energy? Like at what point in your life did you kind of realize how critical relationship inventory was?
Mhm.
probably like when I broke my leg, and then like the
Mm,
next week at home where I couldn't walk. So like I literally like you just don't know what you have until it's gone, is such a real
Mhm.
yep.
statement. And like literally not being able to walk was the biggest mental check for me. I was like, whoa, like life is different. Like I take things for granted. And that's when things really started to, I want to change everything. I need like you know, I want more. And like I wanted to take like a terrible thing that happened in my life, and I wanted to turn it into a positive. And I feel like, you know, I've been trying and trying and trying to find the next thing, or the next thing that's gonna work, or the next entrepreneurship that's gonna click. And right now I had nothing but time, and I just wanted to solely focus on something, and that's like how it developed.
So I want to dive a little bit back into, so we've got some questions being submitted right now. And for whatever reason, my screen is being crazy. So hold on just a second. Let me pull up these questions because they're super powerful. Sorry, guys, I'm having some tech issues. Gotta love tech issues. Okay, here we go. So Patrick said, what is it like seconds before a fight starts when you're looking across the mat at the other guy? what goes through your mind? So I've always wondered this too. Thank you so much for asking this question, because I'm really curious about this specific piece. Like, what is it like seconds before that?
It's crazy. And like I've done like thousands and thousands of rounds of like sparring and like actual fighting in the gym and stuff. And it just doesn't beat it. Like I was nervous. Like in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go crush this. Like I'm gonna make you look like you've never fought in your life. And no matter how many times I told myself that, it was just like, yo, because like you can hear your coach like, hit him, and I'm like, I don't want to get hit first though. Whoa. Yeah. and you know, it's just so much anxiety. It's like just crazy amounts of anxiety. But like sounds weird, but like after getting hit that first time or landing that first blow, you're like, okay, like I know what I'm doing. We're good. But like the first couple seconds to me, it was insane. I was like, overwhelmed with the anxiety.
So I want to pull this back because this is Sports to Suits Live. So we talk about, life lessons learned from sports into business. And I'm almost wondering, like, how similar is this? Like the feeling of, getting into your first fight, but taking that first step into entrepreneurship. I don't know who's tuning into this that is an entrepreneur themselves, but I will tell you, the minute we made the decision to go into entrepreneurship, it was terrifying. Like it was absolutely terrifying. So how similar is it?
I'd say it's very similar. I'd say probably it's a little harder. I think like with this, like I just love, like I didn't care about getting punched, or I didn't care about like honestly getting hurt as much. I like the entrepreneurship and the business stuff there, like those were new things that I had to learn. Like, and like they were things that I was used to, athletic things and motivational things. Now I have to learn systems. I need to learn how to negotiate. I need to learn how to talk to people properly. And then like I need to learn all the basic real estate stuff, so like that was probably the more overwhelming than the fighting, for sure.
That's a good topic that you're bringing up in terms of continuous improvement, because as an athlete, you always think about, okay, I'm gonna watch this fighter, or I'm gonna incorporate this into my training, and this is kind of what I'm gonna do, and this is the fighter I want to become. Yeah. When you pivoted to entrepreneurship, you kind of have to have continuous improvement, and you have to continue to learn. So what are some things that you're adding to your arsenal that you see with your company? What are some things that you are continually working on so that you can continue to get better day in and day out?
Making it more about the community. I tell people this all the time. I'm still very new in this. A lot of success came really quick. That's amazing. That's great. But I'm still learning so much, and there's endless things that I still need to continue to learn. So I've created weekly events in Minnesota for other real estate investors and agents to come together to help educate all of us, so we can start just taking more action and doing more deals together, and just creating a space where we can truly have collaboration over competition,
So we've got some people popping in here. We've got Joseph Gonzalez. Good to see you. He says Team Boom is in the house. Excited about that. We've got some other people popping in here with some fun comments. He's talking about time, the most valuable asset in life. Completely agree with you here. So let's take this conversation a little bit of a different route here, because I think that the three of us are very passionate about community building. And so I want to know, actually from both of you guys, I want to know, what does community building mean to you at its core? Like fundamentally, what does it mean to you?
Go first.
Yeah.
You go first.
So, I think community building is surrounding yourself with people who really care about you. I think a lot of times that, when you hear community building, you think about quantity as opposed to quality. And I look at the people I surround myself with. Even when I was younger, my community building method was not built in a healthy way. It was built more in the quantity and not the quality. And unfortunately, I found out the hard way, like most people do, quality supersedes quantity every day of the week. And I think the people that really pour into you, invest in you, champion you, just really care about you as a person. I think that is kind of what transforms who I am, who you are, how you've evolved over time. And I think those people are so valuable. So community building to me is everything.
Love that. Okay, Cody, what do you think about as far as community building? Because so to Jason's point a little bit, so people think that like a community is like a huge group of people and you've got to like, there's thousands and thousands, which yes is the case, but in my opinion, you build community one person at a time.
Yep.
And that is the critical component that I think a lot of people are missing. What are your thoughts on community?
I honestly couldn't agree anymore. It's like right on the money. I think social media is like one of the most powerful things out there, but one of the most terrible things out there at the same time. I think a lot of people really care about the numbers and like how many likes do I have, how many followers do I have, how many people are coming to my meetings or my stuff like that, you know. And I just like with our weekly, I don't care if one person comes or if 100%, like they're gonna still get the same amount because like I'd rather just focus my energy, honestly, preferably focus my energy on a smaller group to really take the time to help build that so that they can have the ripple effect as well, you know? But like community is honestly everything because, yeah, I just can't stress like collaboration over competition is like the biggest thing to me. I think, yeah, people always want to, I want to be the best. And like, I want you to be the best, but like, I want to be the best with you. And how can we scale together? Right. And how can we create more opportunities together to get to that next level? And like, to me, like, that's my main mission. Like, of course, I want to do all the deals in the world and make as much money as possible. But like, if I can help more people get involved in this and create that financial freedom and show you that it's all about the community, because everybody gets focused on the wrong thing, and the community will always win. If you ask.
So do you think athletes struggle with this? Like I have found a lot of former athletes on the competition side, like they really, really struggle with this concept, especially if they've not, you know, if they're still in the sport and they're doing business and stuff like that. Like I found a lot of former athletes really struggle with this idea around competition versus collaboration. And that piece specifically, do you think that have you seen that in your experience as well?
Oh yeah. It's like, I think it's, and like personally too, because I'm super competitive, you know, I wanted to be one of the greatest fighters in the world, you know, things happen. I think that's great. But you know, I don't know, just a stage in my life, you know, where like I want to take that energy and put it into people and building everybody up so we can all be that, instead of like, I don't want the spotlight. I don't want that. I want our group to have the spotlight just so people can see like we're doing a beautiful thing, and that came through collaboration, not competition.
Yeah, whether this is like individual like athletes or teams or like sports teams or entrepreneurs, like this directly plays out in corporate too. Like you can't have people in competition. Like you can, right? I come from a sales background. I want to crush it. Like enterprise sales, strategic, like that is about numbers, crushing it, bringing in deals. But also from an internal team-based perspective, like serious competition where that's the only motivating factor, I have found has been such a challenge to manage, because there's a lot of conflict in regards to that, and not necessarily good conflict.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, it comes with, I think, balance. It's so hard, you know, because it can be amazing, but at the same time, it can drag people down, or it can literally be like affecting your performance in a negative way, because you're so focused on, Bob over here is beating me in numbers, when like, then focus on your numbers. Focus on your KPIs so you can be, you know what I mean? Like, focus on yourself so you can be the best version of yourself, you know? And, but like, that's the thing, like as an athlete, I totally get it. And as on a team sport, we want to be the best, biggest and the baddest team. So like, you know, like I get that. But like, that's the thing. It's a team. That team is the biggest and the baddest because they were a team, and they all like, you know, they bridged the gaps.
Cody,
Jason,
what's
you're
your
processing. I see you processing.
yeah, Cody, what's your thought on, you're talking about community building. What's your thought on mentors or mentorship? Do you have a thought? Or coaching? How do you feel about that?
I think it's good.
Okay.
It's been a tough one. I've struggled with it for a while. I
Mhm.
have some great coaches.
Okay.
I don't like to use the word mentor
Mhm.
because like then that like puts an expectation.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's super crucial because you should always have somebody that you look up to and you
Yeah.
want to strive
Mhm.
for that work ethic or what they're doing. But like taking the knowledge from what they do,
Yeah.
but like it's important for sure. It's
Were
a
there
tough
any
question.
Now, were there any things you learned from your MMA background? Because you talked about the camp and you talked about, having different coaches and different things like that. Have you been able to take some of the skills that you use from MMA and transfer those into entrepreneurship? Have some of the things stayed the same, and what's remained a little bit different in terms of just your group or your camp?
A lot of things stayed the same. I think
Yeah.
it benefited coming in, just through like a lot of the knowledge that I learned through coaches is
Mhm.
just I always be like being present and being motivating and showing
Mhm.
up 100%, even on the days like I'm at 10%. Nobody's
Gotcha.
gonna know that I'm at 10%, and
Mhm.
that comes like I'd say mentorship, but like through my circle, like the people
Yeah.
like they know when like all right, he's getting burnt out.
Yeah.
Like like taking like listening to your peers or like to help that balance and that flow.
Gotcha.
But I'd say that came from the MMA world, and like preparation is key.
Yes.
If you don't come in prepared for what you're doing, it can be a mess.
Mhm.
So what are some things that like maybe didn't translate directly that like you really struggled with when you got into entrepreneurship that didn't necessarily like stick out as a learning opportunity in sports?
Trying something new,
Mhm.
like completely new.
Yeah.
I feel like anything like athleticism wise, I feel like I'll be somewhat okay because like
Mhm.
I'm somewhat athletic. So I can move my body, but going but going to somewhere where like I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know anything about real estate, And so like I had insane amounts of anxiety, imposter syndrome. Like I was like, oh my God, I have to learn everything. And it was terrifying. So, um, finding the preparation and like how to manage that in the right way was huge for me.
How did you feel about, because it seems like there's a level of vulnerability that you had to be okay with. How hard
Mm.
was that from you going from, hey, I feel real comfortable in MMA to accepting that, hey, I'm going to have to be a little bit vulnerable here. And I mean, it's just the truth, especially going into something that's so different. How did you deal with that from a mindset perspective?
It was like the toughest thing ever, I
Mhm.
want to say like probably to my peers,
Yeah.
I they think I probably handled it really well,
Yeah.
but behind closed doors,
Yeah.
a lot of crying, a
Yeah.
lot of breaking down,
Yeah.
a lot of not knowing if I'm good enough, not
Yeah.
knowing if this is the right fit for me. Just it was terrifying. It was hard. It was the
Yeah.
hardest thing I've ever done, but
Yeah.
also the most rewarding. But
Yeah.
So how'd you get into real estate? So let's go into the real estate side of things. Like I'm really curious, like you got injured.
mhm.
And is that kind of the turning point when you decided to go into real estate, or like why real estate? Because I know that there's a lot of people that are like curious about how do I get involved in real estate or real estate investing, and that's kind of a long, it's kind of like a
It,
far-fetched goal for some people. But I'm curious on like, is the barrier to entry that challenging, or was it something you kind of walked into? Like, tell me about your journey into real estate.
so my husband's been trying to get me involved with real estate for like 5 years. Just thought it'd be something I'm really good at. Just ignored it forever and ever. And then it's just like I broke my leg, and he's like, "So real estate? And I was like, all right, fine. Like I'll check it out. And then he's like, actually, I want you to look into this real estate investing guy. And then he said Jamil Damji. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's on A&E. He has like this show on A&E. He does real estate investing stuff. But like I started like researching him and like looking at some of his courses that he has, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like this is crazy. And then like I just like kind of dove in, and then like one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start a real estate investing company. And he's like, no way. And I was like, yep. And then kind of just really dove into a lot of YouTube videos and just like dove into every information that I could find my hands on. And Joe really helped me as well. He is a branch vice president for Coldwell Banker out here, so he manages a bunch of agents. And so like that's where like he just like, oh, you're gonna be great. And that's where it came in. And then I just really dove in, and then all of a sudden like I took a lot of action by failing forward. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just like I thought I did, and just failed forward a lot. But I learned so much every time that I would like take that action, and then like I would ask Joe or Jamil and people for advice, like, am I doing this right? And then I found out that there was a course that you could pay for, like a mentorship course, all that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then I dove in immediately, and like I saw how insane their community was. And I was like,
is that what drew you to it, was like the community-based aspect?
100%. Like I probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger if I didn't see. Because like Jamil's also the franchise, like he's in charge of the franchise. So he's like the co of the franchise and the group. So like as soon as I got in the group, my business took off. Like it blew off. I listened to everything he said, and like it just skyrocketed overnight. And then like, but like you said, the community was crazy. And I was like, okay, I want to get involved more. And then we got a call from like their franchise team, and they're like, Minnesota's available. And I was like, all right, cool, like I'll sign it. Let's do it right now. And they're like, okay. And then dove into that, and that's when I like immediately started like those weekly meetings, and I wanted to really start building collaboration with people before I actually launched. And it literally changed the whole game, because like by the day we launched, we like already had insane business, and like it was so overwhelming. But like it just came through preparation and like following somebody else's foundation, that like the basics work, and like in that. And to me, like I understood that basics work, and I like basics are what win fights, and like I understood that. And then when people taught me like the basics or what are gonna make you successful at this, just learn these basics and then come out with with the franchise and your methods through that, and like just everything clicked.
Well, you had a training plan. Like it's the same thing as like training for a fight, right? You had a training plan. You knew this is what I've got to do. This is the success that somebody else has seen. And if I just follow this specific training plan, then I can see the same success that other people are seeing. And I think that's so critical, especially for organizations that are hiring former athletes, is like to make sure you have a plan, make sure you have an advancement plan or an opportunity for them to continue to advance within their career or whatever, because that's how former athletes, in my opinion, a lot of us thrive.
100%. Like if they didn't have that kind of structure, I think I would have struggled a lot more. That like you said, it helped me thrive that way in a whole different way. And like that's the thing that I love about it, is like the harder I work, the more successful I'll be. But if I don't want to work hard, that's on me,
That's on you.
And and like I can relate to that as an athlete. Like you're going into the gym to get to the next level with your cardio or stretch or whatever, lifting. Like if you're going in there putting in 10%, you're not gonna see the results that you want, like or anything, you know what I mean? So like going in there, just being ready, prepared for anything and everything is just the only way that I feel like you can prepare for things like anything, actually.
Cody, I have a question for you. And you talked a little bit about success. And I think so many times, coming from an athlete, you've seen athletes get success and not be able to handle it. So as an entrepreneur, as you're climbing up and obtaining success, what advice would you give a young entrepreneur in terms of, hey, this is what you do when this is how you handle success. And these are some of the things that you put into place so that you can continue to achieve success at a high level?
I'll be honest, surround yourself with the right team.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's it. Surround yourself with a team that genuinely cares about you. Like there's a lot of things that like I'm still learning, but like through like my team and like people coaching me how to manage my money, right? You know, like I'm in the plan for longevity. Like I don't want, you know, I'm not trying to just make a quick couple million in a year and be done. Like I want a longevity plan. And so surrounding myself with the people that know how to create those plans, because I don't know how to.
Okay. That's good.
So how critical is financial literacy? Like you're talking about like surrounding yourself with people that kind of help you through this process. Like how critical is, and I believe, so the reason I ask this question is because I believe that every single person on this planet, regardless of age, whatever, needs to dive into financial literacy. In fact, I'm actually taking a free finance course right now just because I want to refresh my memory on finance. So I'm a huge Coursera fan. They have free courses that you can go in and you can take from universities. And I'm taking a finance one right now. I'll send you the information.
Yeah, send me that.
Yeah. I'll send you. It's from Yale. I just took one from Harvard. So I just took a leadership course from Harvard. And the interesting thing is like out of all of the topics that as an entrepreneur, I need to dive into, the one area that just consistently is like diving into it is financial literacy, period. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think there's a lot of talk about it, but like even my 12-year-old daughter, we're diving into financial literacy topics because it's critical.
Yeah. Like you hit it on the mind. It's crucial. Like, especially, I mean, at the end of the day, it's crucial. You need to learn that. I'm trying to dive into it more just because I know that like you need to learn that if you want to be in business and be successful and see, like, you need to know how to manage your money. You just need to know how to manage your money, and that's just the point blank.
Well, and this is something that I found really interesting and I really started processing. So I grew up in a really small town and we didn't have a ton of money growing up. And so I almost had a negative relationship with having conversations about money. You know, I've sold millions and millions in tech, right? But when it comes to entrepreneurship, you're asking for yourself initially, right? As you're growing the company. And that's something that like breaking down those conversations and being comfortable and confident in talking about financial literacy topics, that's crucial for any entrepreneur. Yeah.
I think it's humbling and it's hard and you just have to be real. But like I said, like in order to be successful in this industry, like you just have to do it. Money comes and goes like the wind. And if you're not managing your money properly, you're gonna like, I know this because I messed up a lot. Like I lost a lot of money. And like, you know, it's just being prepared, you know.
Well, and just like we're not giving any financial advice. So this is the like corporate side. We're not providing any financial or recommendations on where you should put your money or anything like that. But like the topics are critical. Like financial literacy is absolutely crucial, regardless of who you are on this planet, in my opinion. Jason, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the more information that you can gain, the better off you're going to be. And I think, you know, it's different. You know, you may hear people talk about Bitcoin more. I think educating yourself on that or different emerging trends that enter into financial literacy. I think the more knowledge that you can have and the more people you surround yourself with, I think there's multiple different ways where you could grow your financial literacy. I came from the school of thought it was like a one size fits all. So if you do this, this, and this, then automatically this is going to happen. That's not always the truth. And that's something I've had to unsubscribe from what I've been told since I was little. And I think that's the hardest part for me is saying, hey, there's different ways to get to the top. And that's what makes everybody's story so unique is I think the journey within what they've overcome and the people that's come into their life and how they achieve that success. So I think financial literacy is so good, but I think wrapping your arms around how it looks different to everybody, I think that's so important as well.
Yeah. On the money. That was great.
Whoever's tuning in, like, this is super powerful. I mean, this is great
that was
yeah, that was super powerful. So we've got I want to pull up some other things. We've got Joseph popping in here again. He said there's 4 zones of life: 1, comfort, fear, learning, growth. We must reside between 3 to 4 daily. We've got somebody else popping in saying success is on the other side of fear. This is powerful. Good. So, okay. So I have one question that is a little bit of a redirection here. What is, like, because you're in this growth mode, Cody, like you're growing, you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of new into this space. Like, where do you see, where's the vision in like 5 years from now on where you want to be versus where you're at now? Because I think that this is like, you are super powered, like you're crushing it right now, and you're looking to continue to maintain that. So what is like 5 years from now look like for you? Like, what are goals that you have for yourself for 5 years from now?
That's super cool. 5 years from now, I would like to probably open up 2 more franchises in states that already don't have them. And then I have a goal to start a foundation as well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I want to start what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said I love that. I mean, that's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I want to start a foundation for some LGBTQ homeless people, like homeless regardless. It does, like, I don't care what your background is. And just to, like, my brain is big on it. Like, I want to create like a huge center where it really provides opportunity for free and services that, like, I never saw all the time. Because, like, services now to just like become an entrepreneur, just get on track with life are really hard right now. Like, I've seen people struggle with hardcore addiction issues, mental health issues, and like, in order for them to get that help is actually really complicated. And like, I just think that's messed up. Like, it's, at the end of the day, like, it should, like, if you want to get better, like, there should be more access to those things, and it shouldn't be as complicated especially with people that don't have as much resources to achieve that, so the foundation would be to like have like a library computer center to, like, get your resume going on, or even get educated how to make a resume, to like get a job, or just like a safe place where people can gain education to know that like it's possible. And like, you see everybody out there and people come from rich families and all that, and like, I get that, but like, I didn't come from a rich family, and like, there's a lot of resources that I learned older that like it came through community and like a lot of people who so like, just to build a foundation to provide more resources for less fortunate people. To, if you want to go to college, cool, we can help you get to college and like, give you scholarships for that. But like, if you want to be in entrepreneurship and start your own thing, like, we'll give you a loan to start your own business. Because like, I think it's crazy that like people can go to college and develop thousands and thousands of dollars of debt when at the end of the day, like, they can't get a $10,000 business loan.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. So like, just trying to be able to provide more resources for that, because like, the sky's the limit. It's all about your mindset and the way that you look at it, and if a foundation was out there that could just provide more opportunities and more help, like genuine help. Not like say like, hey, we're gonna do this, and like, like, I want like bodies there to like really help people, because like the next generations is what's gonna change the world. And so like, they need to be educated, and they need to know that we have their back. And I think through like the real estate investing and the franchise companies, that's going to give me the financial freedom to really open this foundation to change the younger generation, because they're the ones that, to me, are gonna change the whole game.
Cody, what is your kindness, compassion? Where does that come from? And does it? And the reason why I ask that, I think a lot of times when people have been on the other side of the coin, they naturally gravitate towards kindness and compassion because they know how it feels. And everybody kind of has a different story as to how they arrived to where they are. But you have a natural kindness, sincerity, compassion for you, and you have a heart to want to give back, especially those within that community. So where does that come from, and who has been influential in help shaping that kindness and compassion that you have for your foundation that you want to create?
I think it came from that I create, my life was hard.
Yeah.
I feel like personally, I feel like a lot of people never gave me time. A lot of people never gave me the time of the day or just even heard me out. And I always never felt loved or just even understood.
Right.
And, until like I honestly got like 30 years old, and really did some core work in my life. And once I started doing more core work, it was heartbreaking what happened to me, and my family didn't want to love me and like things like that, just feeling abandoned all the time. Like it was heartbreaking, and I just didn't want that to happen to anybody else. And I haven't even created the foundation, but like all this Keegley stuff and all, like it's just for that foundation, so I can get to that. Like I want people to know, like, I don't care where you're from, I don't care who your parents are, I don't give a shit about what your story. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't care what your story is. I got your back.
Yeah.
So for anybody that's tuning in, like, and it's hard for me to tell exactly who's tuning in, but like, if you've got access to resources or thoughts or whatever it may be, like, reach out to Cody. He's got some incredible vision. And like Jason said, I mean, just this kind and compassionate heart to serve other people. And that's what this show is about, is how can we get people connected and build this community to make this world a better place. And so if anybody's tuning in that has some thoughts or ideas, definitely reach out to connect with Cody, because I mean, he's just such an incredible person. Oh,
I appreciate it.
What are you processing, Jason? I see you processing some.
Like, so Cody, there's a lot of people that have different quotes. And a lot of people like the quote from Maya Angelou, you may not remember the way that people make you feel. Well, you might not remember what people say or what they do, but you will remember how people make you feel. And that's a quote that I know a lot of people resonate with, is because it's that whole feeling piece about it. Do you have a quote or saying or proverb or anything like that that kind of is your go-to as you start the day, or just going through different things? For me personally, I like when people tell me no. That's kind of been my force, is like, I take that, I use that as motivation, and I'm like, let's go, because I know what it feels like for kind of what you were talking about, to be that person that, other people may doubt, or for whatever reason, and you've heard enough of the no's, and you're like, okay, I'm going to prove it, but I'm going to let my actions do the talking. And that's what burns me. Like, I love it when people say no, because that's like, okay, you'll see. So for you, what's kind of that burning drive and desire that keeps you going when you could quit, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to keep moving forward.
That's just who I just, like that, I don't know, hustler mentality. I just want to keep going. And good, like my dad just always said, keep working. I don't care if you're the best in the room, keep working.
Okay.
Just keep working.
Was it your dad that was real influential in that?
Yeah. Just always, he just, anytime like I was super excited about like training went good or making some good gains in the gym or something. I said on the picture like, I'm shredded.
Yeah.
Keep working. Just no, like I don't want to say no love. It's love. Yeah. Like but just keep working.
So we've got some questions popping in, and we've got a couple of minutes left. So there's a question for Jason that popped in, and so Patrick wants to know, what would be some topics your podcast would cover? So this is putting pressure on you.
So for me,
like that.
I think it's really about people's story. I'm fascinated with why people arrive to where they've become now, and I love to hear the journey. I don't think anybody comes out of nowhere. I think there's been steps that happen in people's life, and I think what people pull from, that's really what I want to know. What have you pulled from? Some people pull from their faith, some people pull from their grit, resiliency, love, drive, kindness. There's so many different ways as to what people pull from. And I think kind of what you two, especially with you, AB, what your show is all about is making that difference in that one person. And I think if one person's story is what somebody else needs to hear that may not have a platform for it, that to me is worth everything. And I think there's a lot of people who have a story to tell that the world needs to hear.
The three of us are in alignment with this because Cody, you mentioned it too. Like the reason, so if this reaches the ears of one person that needed to hear it, we have all three done our job and applied time in a way that makes sense.
100%.
That's it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I think people look at like you said earlier, Cody, like social media, hundreds of thousands of followers. Yes. And yes, there's influence in that, right? I do recognize that there's value in that. However, it's all about just that one person, all about. And if there's 5, 10, 20, that's added bonus. So we've got another question. So Patrick, what he said, Amanda, what's your go-to quote that brings you back to your next space?
Hey.
So this is going to throw it on me, but you guys probably know the answer to this. So I did a TEDx on this a couple of months ago. And for me, it's always, I believe in you. It's the power of those 4 words. And who in your life is saying this, and where does that direct you? What seed does that plant? And how can you go about doing that in the lives of other people too? I think that I believe in you is such a powerful statement. And then you have to pour that into yourself, but that's for a whole other conversation here. So we've got Joseph saying, change the world by one kind gesture at a time, talk about impact. I mean, that's why we do all of
that's
this.
what it's all like. It's all about that.
Like that's what this shows. Like even our relationship, every single one of us connected around impacting lives of other people.
For sure. Like we did.
I mean, and that's, that's the community that we're building is impacting the lives of other people. So I want to give you a little bit of space, Cody, to talk a little bit about Keegly and some of the stuff that you're doing there, because we've got about 8 minutes left. And we've talked a lot about real estate, very minimal about investing, but just from a perspective of what is Keegly and like, what do you do? Like, what are ways that people could get engaged?
Keegly is a real estate investment company. They're a franchise. We focus on wholesaling and dispositions for that. But what we do is basically we have I say unlimited, but we have an unlimited buyers list in my market where I'll acquire properties for people that are in distressed situations or death in the family or just, in a distressed situation. And I'll go in there and I'll acquire their property. And I just know a lot of people looking for flips or rental opportunities, and I'll give them the property, so I'll go in and purchase it at a price, and then I'll flip it to the next flipper.
So what are good connections? Like this show is all about connection and community for me. So like if there's people that are tuning in, like I've dropped the link, it's www.keegly.com. Definitely head over there and check out the company. But like, what are good connections for you specifically? So if somebody's listening in and like, hey, I would love to connect with Cody, like what's a good connection for you?
Anybody that wants to look for rentals or Airbnbs, especially in Minnesota, we have like 6 duplexes, or if you're looking for like multifamilies to like create like wealth through that, we have a bunch of those. So just anybody that wants to do real estate investing in Minnesota, it's honestly a lot easier than you think. And for people that are looking flips and rentals or Airbnbs, connect with me and we can make it happen. And and especially people that want to just want to get in real estate investing, period. Like you don't have to live in Minnesota to do business with me. And there's multiple ways that you can do business with me and still make a lot of money. And that's the point, is to bring everybody together and let we can come together and make some good money, change our lives, and just create a family of people just on a mission.
I love that. Well, I mean, we're coming up on time. I want to give the space to both of you guys. Jason, any last thoughts or questions before we wrap this thing up? It has been so fun having you on, by the way, as a co-host.
Yeah, no, that.
Thank you. Not really. I just think don't lose sight of the people that are in your community or that are in your life. Unfortunately, I've been to enough funerals in my life to realize the importance of you never know when it's going to be the last time. And I think don't let you talking to somebody over the casket be the thing that kind of changes the way you interact with people, because I mean, tomorrow's not promised. And so I think communities like this and just people that really care about you, surrounding yourself, you really get the true meaning of life when you have to go through different things like that. So just don't take the people around you for granted.
And friends can be the best family members.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have
100%.
an amazing family, but what I've also found is I have some amazing friends that are almost like family to me at this point. And I'm so grateful for that. And there's always people we have Friendsgiving every year to have our friends over. I just absolutely truly believe that friends can become family. And there's a lot of power to that.
I believe it.
Cody, what about you? Any last thoughts or?
I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. Jason, you're amazing.
Yeah,
start the podcast.
Yeah.
We're all on such a beautiful mission, and to really change one person's life, and that happens every day. We wake up with that same mission, and so I'm just honored to be a part of this, and just thank you.
We've got some parting thoughts from the guests here. Jason, you're next. I want to see you do that show. Patrick, I'll say the same to you, my friend.
Yeah.
And then we've got Joseph, Amanda, Jason, Cody, keep the drive alive by empowering all the best version of themselves daily. So that's a great way to wrap up. To anybody that is tuning in, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to continue to listen in on these conversations every Tuesday from 1 to 2. If you're tuning in, they are recorded. So I do have them in a YouTube space. I'll be refining that here when I get a little bit of time to do so, but they are housed on LinkedIn. And if there's anybody that you think that needs to hear this message, please send it to them. There's a lot of power in this conversation. I'm very honored to have had this conversation with these two amazing people. And I also can't thank you enough for tuning in and supporting the show, because as we continue to have the opportunity to impact just one life, it makes a difference. So I can't thank everybody enough for continuing to tune in and support. And I hope everybody has a good rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month. And if we can support in any way, please reach out to connect with each of us. We would absolutely love to keep conversations flowing with everybody.
100%.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Love that.